All right, I'd like to welcome everybody to the Delaware County Redevelopment Commission. It is 9 o'clock, Thursday, July 11th, 2019. If everybody stand for the pledge. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Frank, can you call the roll, please?
Yes, sir. Bryce Conyers.
Here.
Angie Moyer.
Here.
James King.
Here.
Carrie Wiggly.
Here.
Eugene Whitehead.
Here.
Paul Garrison.
Here.
First, we need approval for the minutes. Brad, can you call a roll on this since Eugene wasn't here?
Yeah, sure.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Can you call the roll now, Brad?
Yes. Bryce Conyers.
Yes.
Angie Moyer.
Yes.
James King.
Yes.
Carrie Wiggly.
Yes.
Eugene Whitehead.
One abstain.
Very good. Paul Garrison. I guess you don't vote.
I don't.
Okay. Got you down.
Okay, next up, we have the Sheriff's Department. Chief Deputy Stanley and Sheriff Tony Skinner contacted me and discussed a little bit about storage for the vehicles. Right now, I believe you guys have your bomb equipment stored somewhere, your SWAT equipment stored somewhere else. All your equipment is like all over Delaware County, so if you guys have some kind of big major event, you might have to go to the north side of the county, then run over to the south side of the county and pick up all the equipment. You guys would sort of like to have something for the new Justice Center.
That's correct, yes.
Sure. So thank you for having us here. For several years, we've had issues with equipment. For several years, probably going into the decades, as long as we've had equipment. So my Chief Deputy, Jeff Stanley, has taken on this project a long time ago, so I'm going to let him present.
Okay.
what he did.
Again, thanks for letting us be here. So, like the sheriff said, for the past several years, we've had equipment, and it's stored all over the county. So we're looking to, on our new campus, on the new facility, the new jail, we'd like to have a building put out there to where we can bring all this equipment on campus. Currently we have a warehouse here in Muncie that we're paying $500 a month, so we're paying $6,000 a year to have part of our equipment there, and we still have other equipment stored in people's houses, deputies' houses, and then in other buildings. So if we can get it all in one location, that's definitely going to enhance our response time. It's going to the wear and tear of the vehicles. We can keep them indoors, out of the elements, and so we're just looking to try to get everything in one place and just to keep the lifespan of our equipment, try to keep it going.
Fred, I asked him to get you quotes
Yes.
on the buildings also. I believe you emailed those out to everybody.
So I have 3 quotes. Everybody's received those in email. Was there one of those contractors that you had preference or wanted to talk, or after you've reviewed those, you want to share which one or what you think is the?
I think Mr. Thornburg, Mark Thornburg's,
Okay.
And that was one of the higher priced ones. However, I think the quality and what he's going to do, I think it's going to be better for our vehicles. It's going to include the cement pad. That way, we're not parking on rocks or anything like that. Or I believe the lowest bid, Allen Construction or All Steel. They were basically just going to build a shell on the parking lot. So,
Okay.
it's cheap, but it's not functional. So, if this is considered or accepted, I think we're going to try to go with Mr. Thornburg.
Okay, very good.
Yeah, and they actually, the building that is out there now, he actually built that one. So we're just going to build a new one adjacent to that, and we're going to tie them both together.
It looks similar.
Yeah,
tie
exactly.
Together.
Yes.
So, do you have a total, because I on Thornburg's bill, he's got different options, things priced in there. I didn't know what you wanted or what, is it $80,000, $30? Is that his price on the first page? And then
So-
subsequent to that, he's got other amounts added in.
Right, so when I asked to put these quotes together, I asked for everything. I told them, I was like, let's give me what you can, and we'll cut out what need be if we have to.
Okay.
So I believe the total quote for that was gonna be around 130 to 140, once we kind of dwindled it down to what we actually needed.
Okay.
And I apologize, I haven't looked at that quote here recently, but What it is now, I'm not familiar with that number, but it can be.
Do you think you could get that to me before the next meeting?
Sure, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
We would have this on the industrial TIF
Yes,
or even PRL.
yeah, we'd probably combine, funds from maybe 3 TIF districts, Industrial
Okay.
Center, Magna, and PRL, if you chose to do this, yeah.
You want to do it, not to exceed a certain amount.
I'd like to see a total number put together and brought back to us.
We can do that. You guys get the total number?
Yes. So what the board could do, if you would, if this is something you have definite interest in doing, would like to take action at the next meeting, we'd authorize Joe to go ahead and prepare the resolution. So then as soon as I receive the number from Chief Deputy, I can forward that to Joe. He can incorporate it into the resolution for formal approval. A resolution, since this is outside of those 3 TIF districts, that resolution will also reference that this serves and/or benefits those 3 TIF districts as well, which are all within a mile
Yeah.
of this location. Yeah.
Entertain a motion a second to have Joe, do the resolution.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Just get that to him and
Okay, cool. Thank you.
we'll have him get started on the resolution. Okay.
Appreciate it.
Thanks.
Second Thursday in August,
Okay.
9 o'clock, be back here. I don't know that date off the top of my head.
Do you want us to come here that day, or do you just want us to get you that before that?
Yeah, if you
Get it before
get
that.
that, we want you to get that to Brad before that day. That way he'll know the amount to put in the resolutions
Sure.
for when we vote on it.
I'd say if it's not by
August
tomorrow, then
August
next
8th.
week, yeah.
Yeah, sounds
Okay.
good.
Okay.
Sure.
So August 8th, they'll be back here with the resolution and that number and be ready to take action.
Fantastic.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks, sir.
And we have this commission, I've worked with Chief Deputy Stanley before. This commission before has provided space for sheriff vehicles. This is, there is precedent set for this. I think formerly we're in the old Mercix building
Yeah.
prior to Delaware Glass taking possession. So we're housed there for several years.
Yeah, so fortunately, that's a perfect building until, new business came in, but
Yeah.
there, we were able to keep the majority of our stuff in one place, which is nice.
Next, we have the Delaware School solar request, Mr. Garrison.
And I'll just start by letting you know, sitting up here and listening to you all and watching you every meeting is a little different than talking to you from in front of you. So, I tried to put things down, just what the ask is in word form here. So forgive me if it looks like I'm reading to you. Teachers do that sometimes. But anyway, I don't want to leave anything out, is the reason I kind of want to do this. But anyway, I'm just going to kind of read through the letter here for you. For Daleville Community Schools, it's a pleasure to work in conjunction with the Daleville Town Council, the Daleville Police Department, and Delaware County Redevelopment Commission toward a common purpose of promoting our community as a thriving community in which to work and live. Both our school and community leaders have recognized that we serve our community best through cooperation, and that one key asset to economic development is a successful and thriving public school system. It has been our pleasure as a school system to greet prospective new businesses to our community through opening our facilities to them and discussing our philosophy of serving our students and our community. We believe that this project proposal will be a positive development for attracting business, as well as leading our students to greater academic and vocational success. Thank you for giving us time for the presentation and for your consideration of supporting our school district in a project with a 25-year positive financial impact to our school, our community, and its students. We would ask, as you consider our proposal, that you would do so in light of the fact that Daleville redevelopment area
is unique among other tax increment finance areas to which the Delaware County Redevelopment Commission has oversight in several different respects. The area has been in existence for approximately 25 years, since 1994. The area, until very recently, had 100% of the net AV classified as increment and 0% as base AV. The area contains approximately 130 residential parcels and has never passed through residential property assessed value sensitive creation. This is the only district under authority of the commission of which this is still true. This has been the case for the entire existence of the TIP area. An Umball study in 2017 showed that the net effect of the TIP district on local property taxes was approximately 66 cents. This does impact property tax circuit breaker losses. The TIP district has an assessed value of approximately $28 million, which comprises approximately 15% of Salem Township's total available assessed value. As are most tax units in Delaware County, Daleville Community Schools has been the victim of ever increasing tax levy loss due to circuit breaker losses. In 2018, losses to the school corporation's bus replacement, transportation, capital projects funds was approximately $136,000 of a total levy across those funds of $956,196, or a loss of approximately 14%. Those funds were dedicated to the upkeep of facilities, the purchase of replacement school buses, and transportation costs for students. These funds were combined in a single fund along with portions of the general fund in 2019 with a total tax levy of $988,915. Circuit breaker losses have been projected through a study, again completed by Umball Baker Tilly earlier this year, to be $193,000, or approximately 19.5% in 2019, and to continue to increase in succeeding years. Because of the outlook and revenue to the fund that provides for the maintenance of facilities and equipment for the school corporation, the corporation has explored ways to save money or increase revenue in order to continue to maintain facilities. We've researched the possibility of installing a solar field on school property for the last few years in order to lower utility costs in order to spend that money for needed maintenance. Earlier, we had received proposals from Johnson Mello and from Performance Services regarding such a project. Both of those proposals called for a significant amount of capital for the building, which would have required debt in some form, bond issue or some similar thing. Sun Fund Ed, a new company functioning in Indiana, has presented a different concept in that the company's financial investors would make the initial build-out investment, and the school corporation would enter into a service agreement with their company to provide a guaranteed amount of electrical energy to be produced by an installed solar array built on school property at the company's expense. The company's capital investment will be approximately $1.8 billion. The company will continue to own and maintain installed arrays throughout the agreement period so that the energy levels are maintained. The proposed solar arrays will produce 1,422 kilowatts, resulting in direct savings to the school district on cost of electricity. The annual payment from the school corporation to Sun Fund Ed will be $176,796. Of that cost, we are asking the Delaware County Redevelopment Commission to consider supporting this endeavor through reimbursing Daleville Community Schools $50,000 annually through the life of the redevelopment area for the annual cost of the proposed solar energy service agreement with Sun Fund Ed. Those annual payments would not begin until the solar arrays are installed, functioning, and the reduced energy cost is actually realized. That would be projected to be in the late winter or early spring of 2020 if the process moves forward smoothly. The proposed $50,000 annual TIP contribution represents approximately 28% of the annual cost of the proposal and will provide 28% of the energy produced, as well as 28% of the electrical energy savings. The $50,000 contribution would be leveraged through the energy savings as an estimated $78,000. $50,000 in the direct contribution, $28,100 in estimated energy savings benefit to Delaware Community Schools in the first year. The energy savings would continue to grow as electrical energy rate increases over the next several years beyond the 1.5% increase in the service agreement fees. In June, AEP just raised the rates 10% to us. Just an FYI. The partnership with Sunfund Ed will also positively impact the education of our students in academic terms through the SAMI Solar curriculum. Studies of data generated by the array field and manipulation of a solar panel in Orchard Park that can be manipulated by students for experimentation. The solar array would be a visible part of our school facilities and will help showcase our community interest in technology and STEM technologies. The school corporation would also be open to consideration of signage in the area of the solar arrays, one which will be visible from State Road 67, recognize the continuing partnership between the school corporation, the town of Daleville, and the Daleville redevelopment area. Visitors to our school buildings will be greeted by the SAMI's kiosk, which will display information on a video loop concerning our solar energy undertaking and the education surrounding it, school and community announcements, recognition of this contribution and partnership with the town of Daleville and the Daleville redevelopment area, and greetings to guests, including those brought to our campus by town and commission members as prospective members of our community. The second panel of the kiosk will normally have interactive activities concerning solar power and energy conservation. We are making this presentation somewhat early on in the process as our school attorneys continue to study the proposal and our school board formally considers action. After attorney review, we would seek any necessary approval from the town of Daleville to dedicate the use of our land. We recognize that the proposed arrays are of substantial size and will impact our available grounds for years to come. Recognizing that the community will have interest in this fact, we'll hold a public hearing on the proposal. Through this process of community communication, the size of the solar fields could be adjusted downward or limited to one rather than two, or of course not approved. Of course, the size of the contribution from the commission could be scaled back as well. Though the request is for an annual commitment from the Redevelopment Commission of funds from the Daleville redevelopment area of $50,000, any annual contribution towards a project would be appreciated. I believe the requested contribution is reasonable given the current financial circumstances, the history and financial impact of the TIF area upon the school corporation, the unique characteristics of the Daleville redevelopment area listed earlier in this letter, and the potential for true community partnerships and support in future economic development of Daleville. As superintendent of Daleville, I just think it's important to say I can't believe that there's probably another school district anywhere in the state with a better community partnership. We're blessed that way. We're blessed with good students and a town that values education and students. So I've put my own scribbly page numbers on this presentation for you, just to kind of look at. So I give you a lot of information. I just call your attention. Page 5 there kind of is a nutshell representation, and these are Sunfund Ed things, and the timelines they're going to present aren't necessarily our timelines, they're their timelines. So, and of course they're a business and they're wanting to move rapidly. But this gives you an idea of what our current electricity cost is, what they're projecting to happen. If you look at tab or page 6, the next page, It shows the energy savings to the school corporation for 25 years of the agreement, which is a green, that's not the energy savings, that's just the cost of the agreement when it dives off. And then the energy savings each year. The last little flag is the projected accumulated energy savings over 30 years. And then page 7 introduces Sammy Solar. It's an educational curriculum that the company has generated. It's an online curriculum around solar energy and energy conservation. And that's a character they've created. It talks to itself. Again, on the next page, you'll see that their program would call for a dedicated solar array, a dedicated kiosk in the school, school-wide access to the online marketplace, which is the educational piece, and that would be on our school website. On page 10, if you take a look at that, gives you a picture of what the Sun-funded Sammy kiosk looks like. There would be one of those inside the lobbies of each of our schools, and I think I described in the letter just what that does. And then I've marked page 12, which just kind of shows the social impact, community relationships. And one thing I'd like to say is this company's been working with AEP, our provider in particular. The other two proposals we looked at and are net metering proposals, and I don't know if you know what that means, but any excess cost, any excess energy produced would require the utility service to buy it back at their current retail rate. And this is a different concept in that there will be very little excess energy created because we're not scaling it out to our full electrical need. We're about 70%. And so we'll use most of what we produce, but there will be high generating months when school is not in session when we do produce more. And that will, the AEP will buy that back, not at their retail price that they sell it to their customers, but at their current wholesale market price that they purchase energy from other providers. So they like it better. The next page, 13, just kind of goes through the whole project and gives you numbers. We're not asking for a decision today, so you can look at that. And then the page 15 gives you a size of this, one of the two solar arrays. So there's two separate ones, one for the high school that will be tied into it, one for the elementary school. I asked them to push as far south as they could. I'm going to ask them to push it back north now. So they've designed it here, at least in their sketches, down too close to our softball field, I think. And that's the area that we'll capture for playground space just to the south of this unit. So we'll want to push it back north towards Orchard Park. And then page 9 is the same kind of elevated sketch of what it would look like at the elementary school. Currently, so it's pushing it right up towards our pea gravel playground. So they maximize the size. Like I said, it may be minimized from here, which would lower, initial costs, also lower energy savings. And currently, the northern part of that field is used for soccer and recess soccer and kickball, those kind of things. We'd be moving that out into the green space west of the pea gravel playground that you can see there, and in the grass spot you see there to the left or the west of that. The only other tab I've marked or on the other page I marked is 23, the next steps. They've given a timeline here. Again, I would tell you that, you know, it's their proposed timeline, it's not ours. We know we have to work with the town on anything we do, and our neighbors, and that could take this process longer. The company installs these at a lower cost than the other two companies, so their cost to install is lower, and that's because they leverage federal grants, which require them to have a threshold of the amount of energy they're producing. So this is one of 21 of these projects that they're trying to put in one federal grant process to try to, and that lowers the cost. The federal government pays for part of their cost of purchasing the solar equipment. And so they need to do it in lumps. So they're trying to put one together on this time scale and have the closing. They have all the financing in place from their investors. They have $150 million in place committed to this project, these projects. They're looking to close a group of these in August and launch installation on this kind of timeline. And for folks that don't make that, they're looking for another group to launch in October and close on the deal with their financiers in October, which would push everything back from this for that group by 2 to 3 months. Their idea is to have it on the ground for those leading production months, which are April, May, June, July, August, September, and to have the construction carry on before that. Again, Delville's a unique area. It's always been a unique area. And it's very good reasons for setting it up the way it was set up. The laws have changed in 25 years. We constantly deal with that. Just kind of is what it is. The Delville redevelopment dollars have always been spent to help the town of Delville. It's not anything that, you know, we're sour about as a school system or anything else. We're just kind of in a place where we could use some help, and no matter what the commission gives us, it's going to be appreciated. We're going to continue to work in partnership with our community, and we know that the best thing to do for circuit breaker losses is to grow revenue, tax revenue, bring businesses into our communities. I think that's the same outlook the commission has here, and the commissioners have, and we want to be willing, not just willing partners, but partners that can bring something to the table to help those businesses want to land in our community. And so we're making the approach. So thank you very much for your time. Like I said, we're not asking for a decision today. This timeline's out there, and I'm ahead of. I had to tell my school board I was presenting to you before I presented to them. I mean, that's where we are on this. We reached out to Brad and Bill just conceptually, probably a year and a half ago or more, when we started gathering the 2 earlier proposals, just as an idea. And so anyway, thank you for your time. Thanks for your consideration.
Mr. Garrison, a question, sir?
Yeah.
I'm assuming that the company that you're recommending has some operations already in place.
They have some in other states, so this is a new enterprise for Indiana. So what I can tell you is our attorneys are looking over everything. This is a different concept. So
Right.
So what I can honestly tell you is that their competitors, we have 2 quotes from competitors.
Sure.
Don't like this concept because it's a direct it works, it's a service agreement for energy. That's different than energy savings projects, which you are the owner and you pay off over time. This agreement is is providing a given amount of energy from them through a solar field rather than the electrical company. And it's an agreement to purchase it over time, and that's different. And because it's different, it's unique, but what I can tell you is, that's why I was give flexibility of that timeline. We're not gonna step here until we know that everything's kosher and okay, and that the state Department of Energy and the State Department of Finance are all in agreement that, hey, this is going. So I can tell you that attorneys are looking at everything right now, and not just ours.
I was looking at more from the marketing side of it. I mean, have you had a chance to talk to some of the folks that are currently using this program and what their feedback is?
For that, no, I've not.
Okay.
So
Because it might be interesting to know what. their take on
this is a startup company in
Sure.
Indiana out of Noblesville, I can tell you. And this will be the first group of these they launch in Indiana.
Okay.
So it's a new concept.
Scary and
And
exciting all.
Well, you're right. So that is kind of where it's at.
Do you know what states? Do you know what states?
Ohio and Illinois in particular, I know, and those are states both where they've deregulated energy too, I believe.
Are they in schools too?
Those, to my understanding, those are at private schools.
Okay.
So this will be the first public school
school.
kind of group. Now, there are other public schools in Indiana that are in the same point where we are. As I said, there's about 21 school districts. I know Cowan has also signed an LOI with them next door to us. And there's several in the area that are close to signing or have signed. So there's a lot of surrounding school districts that are
Looking into
going
it.
in the right.
Paul, you had mentioned 70%, this will cover 70% of the energy usage at the school.
And that's
That's an estimation.
That's
Do you have an estimation on how much larger the solar field needs to get to cover 100%?
No, because we don't have space to give it.
Okay, well, that's why I was asking. Yeah.
So we explored
Uh-huh.
roof units, which my roof
Contractors.
and, I mean, our roofs are all under current guarantees.
Yeah.
And it would abolish all those guarantees. We'd have to start that part over again. And that it increases cost of installation, which in return lowers the savings from energy. So we just didn't go there. We thought it was better to leave a roof protection in place and try to use available ground. So I'm not so concerned. I think with the elementary field, neighbors aren't going to have, there's not neighbors down there. The neighbors to the east of our school grounds along that high school field may have some questions about it. So I know that could be, and that's why we'll get some input from them and try to be cognizant of the community's wishes as well, because it will tie up. It doesn't tie up any ground we're currently using for anything except to put my people mowing. That's all we've done with it historically. The ground, particularly in the high school array, is holds moisture. It's an old brick factory for Delaware, so it's all clay surface. It's doesn't dry off well. It's full of rock, and I mean it's not a really viable place to do a lot. That's why our track sits where it is instead of being pushed in that direction. So it's land we're not using, and probably it's not a good way for us to push our buildings if we ever grow. Because we've got it all divided by sports facilities, and it wouldn't make sense to go that direction. The directions we'd have to go would be to the elementary school south, probably. So we're also in unique place as a school corporation, as many of you may know. 47% of our students are transfer-ins. It's almost half of the kids at Delaware. Most of those are coming from Madison County in. So philosophically, as a school district, if we find ourselves in financial binds, we don't want to go to the taxpayers for a referendum and say we need more money to make facilities larger because we're educating kids whose parents aren't going to pay part of those property taxes. It's a good financial thing for the school. It's a necessary financial thing. Without our transfer tuition kids coming in, we'd lose over half of our staff. Our programs would be cut drastically. It would be a whole different school system. So they're a help to us, so it's just unique in a lot of ways. That referendum option we don't consider an option just because of that. We don't feel like we can go to the taxpayers and say, hey, help us out with this because. So anyway, if you've got further questions anytime, call me and ask me. I could talk on this subject longer than you'd ever want to hear. So this hasn't been something that we've just hopped into lately. We've been looking at this whole solar kind of thing for, as I say, 2 years anyway.
You get closer to everything that you get with Brad.
Sure, yeah, I'll keep in contact with for sure.
Thank you.
Next, we have the former Lee's Amoco Elam Group updates.
Yeah, thank you, James. The Elam Group is the environmental contractor who's been working on the Lee's Amoco for the commission since the purchase. They've been in constant communication with IDEM and working to eliminate some of the, identify some of the environmental contamination at that site in Delaware. Some ground monitoring wells have been installed. The plume area direction has been kind of identified. IDEM has requested that 7 new monitoring wells be installed at the site, and 8 quarterly reporting events happen with those monitoring wells over the next 2 years. The total cost estimated by Elam Group to complete that work is $54,100. And of that $54,100, it is eligible for the underground tank storage fund reimbursement, which is, I can't remember, it was either 60 or 65% reimbursement of those funds. So I would like to ask for the $54,000 to be funded to continue Elam's work in Delaware. And we are working now on reimbursement of some of the previous expenses that we've spent. So hopefully there'll be a check coming in to do that. Elam had also asked for, they wanted to do further site characterization and actually install some other monitoring wells at the expense of $37,700, not reimbursable. My recommendation is just go with the reimbursable amount this time. Let's take one step at a time and not get too far ahead of ourselves. So that's my request.
I'll move to approve.
Have a motion to approve $54,100.
That is correct. Thank you.
That will go through the reimbursement. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, Brad, the industrial center trail right away.
Yes, I have, as has been reported to you before, the right-of-way acquisitions are in process now. We have our first 4. I'll be bringing these to you at different points every month. We'll have a new set of right-of-ways to acquire. These are slivers of properties in front of either residential houses or strips along farm fields where there is an appraisal. They're all reviewed by your legal counsel, Joe Retz. He's actually the signer on all of these, but you have to approve them individually. I could probably, the best way to facilitate this, the least amount of time, is for me just to read each name and each amount to you. If you have questions, let me know. If not, you can approve them as a group. Okay? So the first one is for Larry Duffett Jr. at 2150 West 26th Street in the amount of $2,700. Second one is for Kathy Duffett at 2200 West 26th Street for the amount of $6,318. Also $381.51. Third one is for Mary Gommel, 2900 West 26th Street, amount of $4,511.04. Also in the amount of $788.96. And the last one is for Holy Ghost Temple Church, which their address is actually currently located at 3409 Rosewood Avenue. They own property in this general area along South Tillotson extension area. Their amount is $3,600. So, any questions on those? If not, I'd ask for your approval.
Need a motion and a second?
I'll move to approve.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, we'll move to the resolutions, Joe.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I put Joe's name on all these.
Oh, yeah, you put my name, but he's gonna explain them all. Great. These are all just resolutions that kind of follow up on the last meeting we had, so. The first one is the Westville Schools. I don't have the resolutions in front of me, so I can't remember what dollar amounts were, but, I think 380, something like that. Anyway.
That was 288.
So, whatever you say, I can't remember. Anyway, whatever the number was you guys did last meeting, that's just what's in there. And structured to go through that school's foundation. So it'll help alleviate some of the costs and headache that comes with, dealing with the school board and interlocal agreements and all that fun stuff.
$288,285.
Let's see. So the next, actually, do you want to deal with these individually? I assume you're gonna want to vote on
You
each
want
one.
to do them all? You want to do them all, or you want to do one?
I can explain them all, and then you guys can.
We can explain
Yeah.
them and just do them all at the same time.
The next one is the GIS mapping. That one I think is paid over 2 years.
Yes, I've got the amounts on all of them. So the amount on this one is $4,200 split into two payments. One payment for 2019, $2,100, one payment of 2020 for $2,100. We talked about all of these at the
Yeah.
last meeting.
Let's see, resolution 008, the road paving. This pledges money from two different TIFs for two different paving projects. I think Morrison TIF and industrial.
Magna on the other. The Magna is $34,250 to pave Phillips Drive, or Phillips Road. And then the other one is from the Morrison Road TIF to pave Westport Road.
It's the addition, right?
The addition, correct. $87,867.25. And that one's been needed for a long time.
All right, 009 is tree trimming project along Hoyt, the county is doing, so that I think is already in progress, if I remember correctly. This is just budgeting whatever number you guys did last time to the county to cover some of the expenses for this project. It runs right through the industrial TIF, so it actually is a direct benefit for this particular area.
This one was not, that one was not to exceed $30,000.
Okay. So, Indiana Economic Development Foundation, resolution 10, that one's to cover marketing costs that come with, or is it a membership to the foundation, I think?
It's actually just to help them cover marketing costs for their overseas economic development trips to help market buildings within Delaware County.
Yeah.
Total amount $5,000.
And that one's being drawn from, equally from all the tips.
Well, that one I just had in Magna, Joe.
Did you?
Yeah,
Okay.
the resolutions say from all
I don't
tips.
think it does,
Okay,
because you've given me a breakdown of all the numbers for
okay.
that one, but.
Actually, that might be preferred because I had one member talk to me prior. Okay, very good.
So wait, keep it as is then?
Keep it as
From all
is.
the-
Gene, you good with that?
I'm fine with that.
That's all what we discussed earlier. Okay, good job, Joe. You're head off the problems ahead of them coming up, so.
Why I'm the best, you know?
Yeah.
Anyway, the next one, the Delaware police vehicle lease. That's, the town of Daleville's police department is getting new vehicles to replace their outdated vehicles, and you already have the vehicles now, okay. And the redevelopment commission is just covering lease costs for those, and this is not really a traditional lease like you would get as a consumer. This is a lease with option to purchase, and the option price is $0. So, it's actually a pretty good deal for the town. This is just approving the pledge. We still have to go through the step of doing an interlocal agreement with the town of Daleville, so that'll be fun. But this just covers the actual lease cost for now, pledging that money. We'll take the next steps, hopefully at the next meeting. And then finally, the Nebo Bridge, Resolution 12, that's covering costs associated with redoing or is it?
It's not quite a
Not rebuild,
rehab,
yeah.
but it's updating and
Yeah.
replacing some stuff.
And yeah, I guess to also account for Yorktown's plan to put a
Right, it's
fun
included.
roundabout right there,
Mhm.
which everyone's excited about. So, that's the gist of it. Like I said, we covered all of these the last meeting in more detail. The resolutions are just formalizing what you already had done. So any questions or
If
comments?
not, I'll entertain a motion in a second.
I move to approve all the resolutions presented.
I would probably do each individual resolution instead, yeah.
We'll do,
So I'll move to approve 2019-006.
Second.
have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Move to 2019-007.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion is second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Move to 2019-008.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion is second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? 2019-010, the Indiana Economic Development. Oh, did I? Oh, I'll go back to 9.
Move to approve.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We'll go back to 2019-009, tree trimming on Hoyt.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
2019-011,
Motion to approve.
Second.
have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Move to resolution 2019-012, the Nebo Road Bridge. All in favor, say aye. Oh, I'll need a motion and a second on that one.
Motion to approve.
You ready to go?
Yeah, motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Now we'll move to invoices.
Is this a duplicate? You have two card notes for the same amount? You got one at the very bottom and one three above that. They're both for $9,415.
You know what, I think you've got an earlier version of the
Yeah.
agenda, I think I corrected it on the one I got.
Okay,
Yes, yes, it is correct, you are correct. It was on there twice.
okay.
Yep.
I'll make a motion to approve all the invoices presented.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Have anything from the public? If not, entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thanks everybody for coming in.
Thank you.